Good luck.
Hello everyone, this is Amit Siddhartha from Masycheff, and first of all I am sorry to all the participants that we could not log in into this webinar on time, and because of the technical reasons we were getting disconnected, and I'm sorry for that again. With me I have Alex Masycheff from DITAToo who will be sharing his who will be sharing a demo on DITAToo and how we are exactly going to work on DITAToo. And our webinar, today's webinar is on managing your data content effectively with DITAToo DITA CMS. And moving further to the next slide, I would like to acknowledge STC India for giving us a chance to present our webinar, and special thanks to STC India Chapter for organizing this DITAToo webinar. And I would like to talk a little bit about me and Alex, and about me. I'm the owner and consultant at Masycheff Information Solutions and Consulting, and we have expertise in data accessibility, structured authoring, single sourcing, usability, and information mapping. Implementation partner, and we are the implementation partner of DITAToo in India. And Alex is a CEO at Intuition Limited, which is the developer of DITAToo DITA CMS. And Alex is also an expert in data content management, single sourcing, and technical documentation. So our webinar today is on handling data content, and the agenda for this webinar would be what are the data challenges that we come across while working in data, and then Alex will move on with the DITAToo overview, and he will show how the DITAToo is integrated with data editors, including how we are going to work on DITAToo using Microsoft Word, which means how we are going to import the Microsoft Word and convert the Word document into data contents. And then he'll take us through the demo of DITAToo, and then we'll be discussing about the license types, questions, and answers. So during this webinar, everybody is on mute, and if anybody has any questions, they can type in the questions section, and we'll be answering their questions in the end of the webinar. And we'll have 10 to 15 minutes time when we'll be answering our all the questions of the participants. And if anybody has any other questions, or if they have more questions to ask, please feel free to write us on our email ID. So moving on to the next slide. We always come with this question that what are the data challenges when we migrate our content, unstructured content, to data content or structured content. So first thing comes up in our mind is that how are we going to manage the data topics? As we all know that data topics are element-based topics or ID-based topics, and it is really difficult to manage them, as it is difficult to arrange them, and also it is difficult to map them to a particular data map through which we can publish the output in our desirable formats. So another point which comes up regarding the data challenges are understanding conflict between data structures and document structure. So we have always seen that all the technical writers who work in data have these kind of questions in the mind, that how their document is going to look after the publishing, because when they write in data, it is purely in the XML format, and it is really difficult to understand the layout or the presentation of the content. So we'll be dealing with this challenge as well in our demo. And then we have third point, which is the mapping data contents to correct data maps. So in this case, we technical writers generally are not able to map the accurate data content to the correct data map. So this is another challenge which is usually handled by any data CMS tool, and which has to be very dynamic and which can easily identify all these data topics and can map to the relevant data maps. So moving on to the next slide, it is about DITAToo overview, and I'll be now making Alex present for this all these slides, and he'll take you further through the DITAToo overview and the demo on DITAToo. So Alex, I'm handing over the presentation to you now, and you can take it forward.
Thank you, Amit.
Welcome, Alex. So did you get the access?
Yes. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
Sure, I'll let you know. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, great. Thank you, Amit. Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Edgar and Amit of Masycheff Information Solutions for inviting me to do it. In the next 30 minutes or so, it works and how it might help you to manage your data content. As you probably know, DITAToo is an affordable and simple tool that allows you to manage your data content. DITAToo automates many data-related tasks that you have to do every day. That includes searching across topics and maps, managing content variations, publishing, conditional publishing, managing translations, updating content, tracking reuse cases, and so on and so forth. DITAToo is data editor agnostic, which means that you can create data in any data editor of your choice, including FrameMaker, Oxygen, XMetal, and so on and so forth. DITAToo integrates with the DITAOpen Toolkit, and this is how you can produce a wide variety of output formats, including PDF, CHM, HTML, Eclipse Help, and many other formats from the single data source. On the slide that you're seeing on your screens right now, you can see a very brief high-level overview of DITAToo architecture. DITAToo consists of two parts. One part is the DITAToo content repository. This is a database where all your content resides. In production environments, we usually recommend to install the content repository on a dedicated server. However, when you are trying DITAToo, when you're evaluating it, you can install both the content repository and DITAToo itself on the same computer. This is, for example, the configuration that I'm having right now. I've installed both the content repository and DITAToo itself on the same laptop that I'm using for demo purposes. So the first part is the content repository, a database where all the content resides. The second part is a DITAToo desktop application. Every user who has DITAToo installed on the local computer can access the content repository and work with the content remotely. Like I said, DITAToo is data editor agnostic, which means you can use any data editor of your choice to create and update data topics and data maps. In fact, most of our customers use either Oxygen or FrameMaker or XMetal to produce and update content. For the purpose of this demo, we'll be using Oxygen XML editor. Like I said previously, DITAToo integrates with the DITAOpen Toolkit, and this is how you can produce a wide variety of output formats from data source. DITAOpen Toolkit supports PDF, CHM, HTML, RTF, Eclipse Help, and other formats, and all these formats can be produced using DITAToo. And you'll see in a few minutes how exactly you can do that. This is the scenario that we're going to do today. We'll start with converting an MS Word document to data using DITAToo, and you will see how the built-in conversion works. Then we'll take an existing data content created on the local machine to the DITAToo content repository. Then we'll see how we can create a new topic from within DITAToo and use Oxygen XML editor to update this topic. Then we'll see how we can move and rename files and folders within the content repository, and we'll see how DITAToo will update all course references automatically. Then we'll see how searching works in DITAToo. We'll see how we can assemble topics into new projects. We'll also see how we can publish projects and manage versions. But enough talking. Let's move on to the presentation. I will close the PowerPoint. This is how the user interface of DITAToo DITA CMS looks. And we'll start with populating the DITAToo content repository with actual content. Like I said previously, we'll start with taking an MS Word document. This is our MS Word document that we'll be using. And now we'll convert it to DITA using the built-in DITAToo automatic conversion tool. But look at this Word document first. You will see that this document is completely unstyled. It's full of manual formatting. Everything here is unstyled. For example, this heading is unstyled. It's just normal with some manual formatting. This paragraph is unstyled. This bullet list is styled. This number list is unstyled. Everything here is unstyled and full of manual ad hoc formatting. In a normal situation, you would be in troubles, because all traditional conversion tools that allows you to convert content from Word to DITA are based on styles. This means that before the conversion, you have to map your styles to DITA elements. For example, you would have to say that your style called body text should be converted to the element in DITA called P. And if you have a style called bullet 1, it has to be converted to the element in DITA called LI. And if you have a style called heading 1, you would have to say that this style has to be converted to the DITA element called title, and so on and so forth. As long as your document is formatted consistently, you're fine. But in the real life, we see many situations, many cases when the legacy documentation is not formatted and is not styled consistently. So in this case, you would have to spend a lot of time trying to configure the mapping between styles and elements, and then you will have to do a lot of cleanup before or after the conversion. Fortunately, DITAToo, the DITAToo conversion tool is not based on styles, and you will see how it converts this unstyled document in a few minutes. So DITAToo will do several things. First of all, it will split the entire Word document into individual DITA topics. Then, DITAToo will automatically identify the information type of the original content. For example, look at this portion of content. Because this is some description, it might be a good candidate to be a concept. And this portion of content, which looks like a procedure, is a good candidate to be a task, because it contains some procedural stuff. So DITAToo will automatically identify the information type of the original content and convert it to either concepts or tasks in DITA. Then DITAToo will extract all embedded images, and all the screenshots are embedded. It will embed all of them, store as separate PNG files, and then add appropriate links to the topics. And then DITAToo will upload all this content to the content repository. Let's see how. I will close this DITA, this Word document, and now in the repository I will create a new folder in which the converted content will reside. I will call it installation. And now I will go to the File menu and say Import Word Document. I select the Word document that I want to convert to DITA, click Open, and like I said, DITAToo is now parsing the Word document, splitting it into individual topics, converts them to either concepts or tasks, and upload them to the content repository. Now I'm getting a notification that the converted files do not have a prologue section, which is completely fine. because Prolog is a data-specific feature, and it's quite clear that the stuff converted from Word will not contain it out of the box. Done. Now you can see that DITAToo created 3 separate folders. One for concepts, one for tasks, and one for graphics. We can do a preview of one of the concepts right here in the repository. We can also view the XML source of the topic to make sure that we have a clean, pure, valid data. We can also go to the tasks folder and make sure that tasks will convert it to data tasks. And as you can see, this is a valid, clean data. DITAToo did one more thing. If we go to the Projects tab, we'll see that now in the Projects tab, we have a valid data map that resembles the structure of the original Word document. Once we have it in data, we can rearrange it as we need it. For example, we can add more topics, we can remove these topics from this project, we can change the hierarchy, and so on and so forth. So this was one method of how we can populate the DITAToo content repository with content. We took an MS Word document and converted it to data. Another method is to take an existing data content, for example, like this one. So right now, you're seeing on your screens an example of a data map opened in Oxygen XML editor. This is what you see on the left. This is the data map that we'll be using at this demo. And on the right, you see one of the topics included into the map. This topic also contains some conditional content, and later on we'll see how exactly we can use the conditional content in data topics and how we can use it for conditional publishing. So you can see, for example, that this slide, the one that says translation management, is conditionalized using the product attributes. And later on, we'll see how we can filter it for publishing. So let me close now this topic and the data map and go back to the DITAToo content repository. In a repository, I will create a new folder in which the user map, the data map that you've just seen will reside. I will call it user manual. And now I go to File, to the File menu, and I say that I want to upload the project. The project actually represents a data map. So I'm navigating to the map that I want to upload to the repository. I click Open, and DITAToo will now automatically identify all the dependencies, which means it will identify all the topics to which the map refers. It will identify all the other files, such as graphics, to which the topics included in the map refer, and it will upload all the files together. So I don't have to upload all the files included into the project one by one. I just upload the map, and DITAToo will do the rest for me. Now DITAToo is asking me whether I want to recreate the same folder structure that I had on my hard drive in the content repository. And I say yes. I want to preserve it. And this is exactly what I have. As you can see, DITAToo uploaded all the topics, all the graphics. And if we go to the Projects tab, we now see that here we also have our data map. And once the data map is stored in DITAToo, we can manipulate with it. For example, we can add more topics, so we can remove topics from this map. We can change the hierarchy and so on and so forth, and we'll see how a little bit later during this demo. So that was the second way how we can upload content, how we can populate the content repository with actual content. Finally, one more, and of course you can upload individual topics, not necessarily entire projects if you want to. Finally, one more way how you can upload content to DITAToo, you can create a new topic from within DITAToo. So let me show you how. You go here, you say new topic. Here you specify a topic name. Let it be my sample task. Here we specify the information type of the newly created topic. Let it be task. I can also specify my own specialization if I have any. If I would have any specialization, then this drop-down list would be enabled, and I would be able to select the specialization template that I want to use. And here I click OK. And because Oxygen was specified as my as the data editor of my choice, now the newly created topic will be opened in Oxygen, so I can edit it. It is opening now. And by the way, the elements that appear in the newly created topics are defined in the template. So for example, if you want that every new task would appear with some elements already inserted, you can like in this example, you can, okay, so here, oops, sorry. Here now I can type in some text. Delete it. I now save this topic. And I close it. Now I'll go back to DITAToo. This is the topic that I just created. And as I said, check in. Here, optionally, I can provide some comments. I just close it. Then how you can upload content to the content. So once all the content is stored in the repository, you can manipulate and manage it. One of the things that I wanted to show you is how DITAToo can allow you to automatically update all links, cross-references whenever you move or rename files and folders stored in the repository. For example, let's look at this topic. First, I want to show its preview. So you will see that this topic contains a lot of screenshots. Okay, so you see that the topic is full of graphics. Okay, closed here. Now I want to go to the XML source to show you how these graphics are actually inserted into DITA. You'll see that this is an example of my href. Sorry, this example of Masycheff, and notice the path to the graphics. Right, it says go one level up, then go to the graphics folder, and then take this PNG file. And this is another href. So as you can understand, all the graphics are stored in this folder. So now let's do several things. So first of all, let's rename it. And instead of graphics, let's call it images. And then let's create a subfolder which will name screenshots. And then we'll take the screenshots that we've just seen in in the topic. We'll take them and we'll now move them to the newly created subfolder. And we'll go in further. We'll take this topic and we'll rename it. In a normal situation, all the cross-references, all the links to these images would be broken because we moved them to another location in the repository and we renamed one of the graphics. But fortunately, DITAToo automatically updated all the references, all the links for you automatically. Let's go to the XML source to make sure that this is what's happened. Look at this href. Now, as you can see, it reflects the new location of the image and its new name. It was updated automatically. And if you take a look at the rest of the hrefs, you will see that they were updated automatically too, and they now reflect the new location of the screenshots. You can even go, again, to the screenshots folder and say that you want to delete this image. But then DITAToo will tell you, hey, actually, the file that you're going to delete is referenced by another file, and here in this warning window, it says which file exactly is referencing to the file that you are going to delete. You can still click yes if you still want to delete it, but now at least you can understand the impact of your action. So whatever you do, whether you rename a file or folder or you move it to another location within the repository, you don't have to worry about links. All the links will be updated automatically for you by DITAToo. Okay, so this is how link management works in DITAToo. Now let's assume another scenario. We now have this content repository with a lot of content in it. Now let's assume that another person, it might be another technical writer, or maybe someone from such as a support team member, or someone from marketing or sales department wants to access the content repository and assemble a new document from the existing topics. So in this case, assuming that that person has DITAToo installed and that person has sufficient user privileges, access privileges, he or she can log into DITAToo create a new folder. Let's call it datasheet. Okay, and in the datasheet folder, we'll create a new project. And we'll call this project datasheet project. If we go to the projects tab, we'll see that the new project is created, but it's empty. And now we can populate it with topics stored in the repository, and we can do it using several ways. One way is to use search, and you can use either a full-text search or metadata-based search. A full-text search is a quite standard feature that you can see in many tools. It's not very interesting. You can find it everywhere. What I really want to show you is how metadata-based search works. DITAToo allows you to specify metadata, and the metadata is extracted from the prologue section of the topic stored in the repository, and specify your search criteria. So, for example, you can say that you want to find all the topics whose category is set to overview. You just click search, and DITAToo shows you the topics that satisfy this criteria. So right now, these are just 2 topics. Before you add them to the project, you might need to do a preview just to make sure that this is exactly what you're looking for. And if this is what you need, you just select the topics, make right click, and say add to project. Here you specify the project to which you want to add the selected topics. Click OK, and the topics are there. You can also right-click on the project itself and say add topics to project. And this is another way to add topics to the project. And this gives you the contents of your content repository that you can browse and select the topics that you want to add. So, for example, and of course you can select multiple topics. Let's say it should be this topic and this topic, and they now appear in the project. Or you can go to the repository and select the topic that you want to add to the project right from here. So, for example, let's say we want to add this one and this one. You do right-click. Again, say add to project. You specify the project to which you want to add them. Click OK. And the topics are added. So now all the topics that we wanted to add to the project are in, but we still have to arrange them into some sort of hierarchy. And you can do it either using these buttons, or by dragging and dropping them, like this. So now all the topics are in, we arrange them into a hierarchy, and now we're ready to go. So first of all, we check in the project back to the repository. Optionally, we can provide a comment here. And we can now publish this project. Like I said previously, DITAToo is integrated with DITA Open Toolkit. So you can publish to a wide variety of output formats supported by DITA-OT. You can, for example, publish to PDF, HTML, CHM, RTF, Java Help, and so on. Okay, so at this point, I will leave all the default settings. I will explain them later on. Just click Publish. And now DITAToo will invoke DITA Open Toolkit to publish the selected project with some default style sheets. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat. and Amit and I will answer.
Hi Alex. Considering that there is less time for question and answer session, and as this operation is taking little time, I think we can answer a couple of questions asked by the participants. Is that fine with you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So let me just...
Absolutely.
Okay, then I'll just pull up some questions that participants have asked. So the first question is, what happens to the cross references when we import our Word document to DITAToo?
What happens to cross-reference? Well, it actually depends on the nature of the cross-reference. If this is a cross-reference within one section, then they will be preserved. If these are cross-references between different sections, which means in DITA they will become cross-references between different topics. Most chances that they will be preserved, though we need to check it. Most chances that the cross-references will be preserved. Amit?
Yes. So as we see that our document is ready now, it is published. So we can take care of rest of the questions after in the questionnaire session.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so as you can see, PDF has been created. Like I said previously, this PDF was created using default DITAOT style sheets. But it's ready. Now, as you probably know, you can customize the look and feel of DITA Open Toolkit by creating customizations. There is a standard way of doing this. Generally speaking, if you create a customization of a DITA Open Toolkit, you have to keep all the style sheets that override the default style sheets in a separate folder. And if you have such a customization folder, you just create it. You just choose it here. You select this checkbox. You say which folder, customization folder you want to use, and then you can publish, and DITAToo will apply this customization folder on your project. Amit, any other questions?
Yes, there are a few more questions that has been asked. Just give me a minute. Arbor text be integrated with DITAToo, Arbor text editor. So I would like to answer yes.
Like I said, yes, please.
Yes, DITAToo can easily be integrated with the Arbor text editor, as in the presentation we had discussed that it can also be integrated with the Oxygen and then XMetal, and with the Arbor text editor also it can work very well.
Right. Okay. Okay. So the next thing that I wanted to show you is how DITAToo can help you handle content variations. In the beginning of this presentation, if you remember, I showed you that one of the topics, this one, contains some conditional content. Okay, so let me just to keep things fast, I will open it. I will just show you for the sake of simplicity the XML view, so you can see how exactly the content is conditionalized. So take a look at the last LI. It's product attributes as translation management, which means that I'm conditionalizing this LI by product, and I have two other LIs that I conditionalize by audience, right? So let's say that now I want to create an output that will exclude translation management from the output. So let's say I'm just generating a user manual for the customer who does not want to take the translation management module. Okay, so in this case, I would be interested to exclude any mention of translation management from the output. Well, let's see how I can do this. What I do, I just select the project, and here I select this checkbox, use conditional publishing. And what it shows me all the attributes and all their values used throughout the topics included into the project. And from me to select the content that I want to include into the output. Because we said that you want to exclude translation management, let's say we also want to exclude the information for non-FrameMaker users. Okay, so I just select FrameMaker users. I don't exclude, I exclude translation management and information for non-FrameMakers. I just click publish, and DITAToo is now creating a filter and applying this filter to the output. So in the final PDF, we will not list our to be honest. Okay, so let's jump directly to the list of features, and we'll see that translation management, the last item in this list, has disappeared, as well as the item that went here, right? The one that says that you can publish through DITA Open Toolkit. So these two items disappeared because this is how I configured my filter. So this is how you can handle content variations, but just keep in mind that in the real life, when you might have many different attributes and many different values, and in this case, it might be time-consuming to specify the content that you want to include and exclude every single time when you produce an output. So in this case, what you can do, you can create what we call publishing profiles. And the publishing profiles actually is a combination, a preset combination of the content to be included and excluded. So in this particular case, we might have at least 4 different combinations for the output. So one, we might want to produce an output for FrameMaker users with translation management. So here we select FrameMaker users with translation management. Another combination would be FrameMaker users without translation management, right? So we selected FrameMaker users. One more combination would be non-FrameMaker users with translation management. And finally, another combination could be non-FrameMaker users without translation management. Okay, so now we've just created 4 different profiles, and each profile represents a certain combination of the content to be included and excluded. And now, when we publish this project, we can still choose the content to be included and excluded manually, or profiles. And to make our life a little bit easier, DITAToo shows you in this area the settings for the profile you selected in the drop-down. So you just select the profile that you want to apply, click Finish, and this will publish an output based on the selected publishing profile. Okay, unfortunately, I'm seeing that we're running out of time, and just a few things that I want to quickly show you is how you can update topics, how you can manage versions, and then we'll take your questions. Okay, like I said, DITAToo is data editor agnostic, but in this demo, I'm using Oxygen XML editor. So the topic that I want to edit will be opened in Oxygen. But keep in mind that DITA is all about content reuse. And you might be in a situation that the topic you are editing might appear in multiple different places, in multiple different maps, or maybe other topics are referencing the topic in question. So before you update anything, you have to be sure, you have to get a kind of report that will tell you in which places this topic is reused. So what you do, you select the topic, you right-click on it, and you select this option called Find Where Used. And this gives you a list of all the places that refer to the topic in question. And this particular case and one other topic. So now let's say you say, okay, I still want to update this topic, and I want this change to be propagated to all the places in which this topic appears. So you click Open with the XML editor, you check it out. Now this topic will be opened in the XML editor of my choice, in this particular case in Oxygen. And once it's opened in Oxygen, I can edit it. Amit, while the topic is being opened, do you want me to answer other questions?
Yes, so there is another question that is asked related to, like, a person is using like, let me just see the question. Yeah, he says that they are currently using Windchill as the CMS, which is a PTC CMS, and they want to import data files into using DITAToo, but as all previous files has been created or managed using Windchill, can DITAToo be integrated with the Windchill? So this is another question that has been asked.
Mm-hmm. Well, generally speaking, DITAToo can be integrated with third-party systems. However, to give this person a specific answer or advice, we wish to contact us off list after this webinar, and we'll be happy to discuss this in detail.
Yeah, and then another question that has come up is like, what is the price for DITAToo? So the DITAToo price is $1,400 for the first license, which contains 2 licenses. One is the admin and or one author license, and for every subsequent license, that is the subsequent DITAToo author license, it is $750, and for arranger license, it costs you $400. And there are more questions coming up, Alex, but I think that as considering the time constraint we have, we cannot address all these questions as of now, but we'll certainly like to take these questions offline, and we'll get back to all the participants with their answers.
Agree. Okay, so let me finish with this demo. The last thing I just wanted, like I said, I wanted to show you how you can update the topics stored in the repository. So if you remember, I selected the topic. I said open it in my XML editor. The topic was opened in the editor. Now I can write something here. Okay, I save it. Okay, I've saved it. Now I can close Oxygen, go back to DITAToo, and check the topic in back to the repository. So let me close it here. Okay, this is my topic. I now check it in. I think there is a quite significant delay right? I mean, between what I'm showing in and what do you say?
Yes, exactly.
Oh. Sorry for this. I was trying to do things too fast, and this computer is not following me. Sorry for this. Yeah, too many actions at once. I know. Okay. So let me check it in. So here I can optionally provide a comment. And as you can see, let me just move it here. And as you can see, after I checked in the topic back to the repository, its version was increased by 1. And now the version says version 2. And I can always go to version history to see which versions the topic has. So right, this topic contains 2 versions, and I can always compare them to see the difference. I can roll back to one of the older versions. I can branch either the latest version of the topic, or I can branch one of the older versions and do other things. So I see that unfortunately we're running out of time. So I think we can maybe answer one last question, and then we'll be happy to address the rest of the questions offline.
Yeah.
Amit, do you have any other questions?
Yes, Alex. Just give me a minute. I need to pull out the question. If we delete any topic from the project, does it get deleted from the repository as well?
No. If you remove a topic from the project, it will be removed just from this particular project. It will not be deleted from the repository. It will be removed just from this particular project.
Okay,
if you want to delete the topic from the repository completely, then you just have to use another feature, just click another button.
Okay, I think that answers this participant's question, and I'm taking back the access to this presentation from you, Alex. And
okay.
As we have very less time remaining, so we need to move fast and wrap up this presentation. So regarding the rest of the questions, we'll get back to all the participants separately offline, and we'll share this presentation and the recording of this webinar with all the participants who has registered with us. And moving on to our further slides, DITAToo licenses. So the DITAToo first license, as I discussed earlier, that it contains DITAToo administrator for content administrators plus a DITAToo author. So this is the first type of license. And another license is like any subsequent author license, which is only for the technical writers. So in this, no administrators or arranger is included. And the third type of license is the non-DITA administrator, or DITAToo Arranger license, which is mainly used by the information mapping experts or the publishers. So obviously we had our questionnaire session, and thank you everyone, and you all can get back to us or write us or send us an email asking your questions or doubts if you have any. So you can write to Alex on his email ID, alex@ditatoo.com, and you can write me on info@metapercept.com. You can also visit us on www.ditatoo.com and www.metapercept.com. You can also connect us with us on LinkedIn, that is DITAToo Community, and on Twitter @DITAToo1. So thanks a lot, each and every participant, and I'm sorry for the technical issues that we faced today, but we'll ensure that you get a good quality of recording, and we should get back to all your questions with suitable answers. Alex, do you have to say something?
Yes, I just wanted to thank once again STC India Chapter and you, Amit, personally, for organizing and hosting this webinar. Thank you very much to all the attendees. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact Amit or myself, and we'll be happy to answer all the questions and give you any specific advice that you need. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye, everyone. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.